Does this man look familiar to you? If you said yes, you're not alone. People around the globe, from Los Angeles to Moscow, claim that they have seen this man before, but they can't exactly put their finger on who, what, when, where, or why. But one thing's for sure, they've all seen him in their dreams. So that brings me to the main question of this video. Ever dreamed this man? But let's travel back to the beginning so you can understand everything about this man. It all started in January 2006 in New York, when the patient of a well-known psychiatrist draws the face of a man that has been repeatedly appearing in her dreams. In more than one occasion, that man has given her advice on her private life. The woman swears she has never met the man in her life. And that is a very common theme throughout this mystery. Nobody has ever claimed to meet this person in the real world, only in their dreams, which leads to a bunch of wild theories that I'm going to touch on in a second. But the story continues that the portrait lies forgotten on the psychiatrist's desk for a few days until one day another patient recognizes that face and says that the man has often visited him in his dreams. He also claims he has never seen that man in his waking life. So now there's two people that have no connection besides going to the same psychiatrist when they both recognize this man that they have never seen in the real world, but have both seen in their dreams. So what exactly is causing these two different people to see the same imaginary person in their dreams? But as it continues, the psychiatrist decides to send the portrait to some of his colleagues that have patients with recurrent dreams. Within a few months, 4 patients recognize the man as a frequent presence in their own dreams. All the patients refer to him as this man. So that is the official lore according to the main website regarding this topic, which is thisman.org. It's got that .org so you know it's official. But that is the full origin story of this man. And to continue on the website here, it says from January 2006, which is of course the date that the psychiatrist patient first drew this man, until today, at least 2,000, scratch that, 8,000 people have claimed to have seen this man in their dreams from cities all over the world. This isn't region locked like Netflix. People aren't only having this recurrent man in their dreams in one specific area. This is widespread across the globe. And they say that at the moment there is no ascertained relation or common trait among the people that have dreamed of seeing this man. Moreover, no living man has ever been recognized as resembling the man of the portrait by the people who have seen this man in their dreams. And they say the aim of this website is to help those who have seen this man in their dreams and foster community among them, bring them all together in one place, and to understand who this man is and why he appears in an apparently patternless array of situations in the dreams of such diverse human subjects. And that takes us to the Dreams tab, where we have quotes of different people who have claimed to have seen this man in their dreams and what they say he did in those dreams. So let's go ahead and read some of these dreams. Quote, I fell in love with him from the very first time I saw him in my dream. Even though, if I think about it, I must admit he's really ugly. Dang, take a jab at him like that, man. And yet, each and every time, he sweeps me off my feet with his romantic gestures and sweet words. He buys me flowers, jewelry. He takes me out to dinner or to the beach to watch the sunset. So that goes to show right there, fellas, you don't have to be looking like Chris Hemsworth to get the ladies. You can be an ugly bastard with 2 caterpillars on your face, and you can still get the ladies in your dreams. Sorry, I had to do that. It was just set up so perfectly, I had to tee off on it. The next dream says, quote, I have always had this dream of flying in the sky over my city and observing my friends from up there. Since I moved to another house, I started meeting this man while flying. Not every single time that I have this dream about flying, but often enough. He flies too, but he never speaks. And this dream is one of the weirdest ones to me now that I'm reflecting back on all the dreams that I've read about this man. Objectively, not much happens besides them flying. He doesn't even speak. But the fact that he just pops up there for seemingly no reason whatsoever, like all the other dreams, there's a theme, there's a reason that he's there. He's there to do something, to say something. But in this one, he's just flying with them and saying nothing. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but in my head, this one feels the weirdest. The next dream, though, says, quote, the first time I had a dream about this man, I was having a hard time at work. I had a dream about getting lost in a huge and deserted shopping mall. Suddenly, this man appeared and I started running away from him. He chased after me for what seemed like an hour until I found myself against a wall in the kids' area in a supermarket. At this point, he smiled at me and showed me the way out towards the cash desk, and I woke up. Ever since that night, this man has appeared in all my dreams, and he always gives me directions to get out of the dream and wake up. And this dream to me is the most potent one because they say he appears in all of their dreams, and he always gives them directions to get out of the dream and wake up. It's almost like he's one of those people that used to ride in the elevators and push the buttons for you. Like, there's not much of a reason for them to be there, but it's handy that they're there, they're doing stuff for you. The next dream says, quote, I've never had homosexual relationships or even fantasies, but I dream about having sex with this man all the time. I must admit, he has a lot of imagination and he pleases me. Sometimes when I wake up, I discover I've had a nocturnal emission. The first time I read this, it really gave me a good old knee slapping. Because it took me a second to process it and actually understood what that meant. He had a wet dream. He ejaculated in his sleep. I've just never heard anybody call it a nocturnal emission. It's just such a fancy term for something that doesn't need a fancy term. It's like calling jerking off tickling your appendage. But so far, it seems like there's not one thing that this man does in the dreams. Like, he's not the same person in every dream. His appearance is the same, but what he does is wildly different from person to person. Now, this next dream here is a bit of a crazy one. Quote, I dreamt of this man when I was in 10th grade. He hasn't been in any recurring dreams, just one very memorable and terrifying dream. In my dream, I was stuck in a room sitting on a stool. A few feet away from me, there was a television set. I was visited by two men I had never seen before. Not this man. And they both attacked me. I woke up covered in sweat and tears, and I was screaming. I somehow fell asleep, then I found myself back in the room. I started screaming and crying. Then, this man showed up on the screen. I begged him not to harm me. He didn't change his blank expression or speak. He slit my throat and I woke up. I suppose he let me out of the nightmare, but I couldn't stop thinking about him for weeks. I still have some of the sketches I drew of him. I know it's kind of weird. The next dream, though, says, I dreamt this man was in my mirror, watching me, saying nothing, and he was wearing glasses. He never moved the entire time I saw him. He was like a statue. So still. That one is very eerie, very ominous. Also, he has glasses on, which no one else describes. Imagine that dude with some glasses on. It's a weird image. It puts a weird image in your head. Now, the next dream says, quote, I dreamt this man was Brazilian and very handsome. He was a school teacher type with 6 fingers on his right hand. He said if the U.S. had a nuclear disaster, go north. Go up to Santa's workshop. You'll be safe up there in the North Pole. And the next dream says, quote, I've seen this man in 3 completely different dreams. He was slightly different from the picture, but I recognized him immediately. He appeared suddenly and disappeared in the same manner. His message in all 3 of my dreams was, it's all over. That was repeated 3 times in each dreams. The difference in the picture and the man in my dreams are, his hair was a little longer on the top, his eyebrows were not as bushy. Other than that, he is identical. I had no fear of him, but many questions. So in that dream, he was almost like the Doomsday Messenger. He was like Paul Revere, but instead of saying the British is coming, he's saying, it's all over, man. It's all over. I don't know what's all over, the world, their life, the universe, but whatever it is, sure as hell is a very ominous thing to say, especially repeating it 3 times and then disappearing just as sudden as you appeared. Bit creepy. Bit weird. Now this is where we get into the fun bit. We get to talk about all the different types of theories that have been brought up regarding this man. The first one is the archetype theory, and it's according to Jung's psychoanalytic theory. This man is an archetypal image belonging to the collective unconscious that can surface in times of hardship, which is things like emotional development, big changes, very stressful situations, stuff like that, in particularly sensitive subjects. And an archetypal image is something that's like very common, everyone's familiar with type of deal. Like, for example, the hero or the villain in like fairy tales or movies and whatnot. That's an example of like an archetype. And an archetypal image would just be something that all of us have in our collective unconscious that we don't know we have, but it's all there waiting to be unlocked in these times of hardships. The next is religious theory, and according to this theory, this man is the image of the Creator. That is to say, one of the forms in which God manifests himself today. This is the reason why his indications and the words he utters during the dream should be decidedly followed by the dreamers. So, just like every situation it seems, some people have taken to making this guy a religious figure. Dream surfer theory. It is the most interesting theory and the one that has the greatest implications, but it is also the lowest scientific credibility. According to this theory, this man is a real person who can enter people's dreams by means of specific psychological skills. Some believe that in real life this man looks like the man in the dreams. Others think that the man in the dreams looks completely different from his real life counterpart. Some people seem to believe that behind this man there is a mental conditioning plan developed by a major corporation. So we got real tinfoil hat conspiracy theory there at the end with the mental conditioning developed by a major corporation. But other than that, the dream surfer theory is a very, very interesting one, much like the entry says, because it would mean that humans have the capability to develop this skill of being able to hop into people's dreams and just do whatever they want and hop from dream to dream to dream in different people's heads. I would become dang near a dream terrorist. You don't want me getting my hands on this ability. It'd be like Plankton getting his hands on the Krabby Patty secret formula. It would just be tragic. The next theory is dream imitation theory, and this is a psychosociological theory that claims that this phenomena has arisen casually and has progressively developed by imitation. Basically, when people are exposed to this phenomenon, they become so deeply impressed that they start seeing this man in their dreams. So this theory is pretty much the same thing as like, don't watch a scary movie before you go to sleep or else you'll have a nightmare, which I have tried to do to myself because I haven't had a nightmare in so long, but it just doesn't work. I know it sounds crazy. You may think I need to be locked up for that, put in a straitjacket, but I've tried to give myself nightmares and I can't. And I can say over the couple days I've been looking into this thing, researching it, looking at the man, he hasn't popped up in my dreams yet. Now, the last theory on here says daytime recognition theory. This theory states that the apparitions of this man are purely casual. Normally, we do not remember precisely the faces that we see in our dreams. The image of this man would thus be an instrument which, in the subject's waking life, facilitates recognition of an unidentified one-recall image. So the way I interpret this one is basically that this face seems like we would recognize it from our dreams, but we don't actually remember the faces we see in our dreams. Therefore, we aren't sure if we actually see him, but we feel like we've seen him. And now that takes us to our last stop on this website, which is the real-world posters that have been put up all around the globe. You see some starting out in New York, and you can scroll, go to the next page here, and, once it eventually loads, and they end up in places like Paris, Brazil, words I can't even pronounce. And you can actually get a better look at the poster if you go to download and then click on your language, and it'll pull up the PDF. And it just says, exactly what I read at the beginning. Every night around the world, hundreds of people see this face in their dreams. If this man appears in your dreams too, or if you have any information that can help us identify him, please contact us. thisman.org. So it's like they're doing research on this man and they want to get as much information as they possibly can. And also, if you go through this website a bit, there's also apparently a man that is claiming to be this man. He's a holy man in Tamil, India, who claims, quote, "Millions of people are searching for a divine face in their dream. I am that face, living in all soul." And that's the comparison right there. I don't personally see it. I see some similarities, maybe. The eyebrows really is all I see. Maybe the hair. But maybe he is that guy, pal. And then one other image I wanted to show you from their Instagram is this one. And I don't have anything to say. Much like there's no comments, there's nothing to be said. I just want you to stare at that and feel as uneasy as I feel looking at that image. Seeing that guy in like a real life human form though, compared to like the drawing, just feels unnatural, It just feels very uncanny valley. But now that we've explored this little mystery thoroughly, we finally came to the last thing I want to talk about, which is going to burst some bubbles. It's going to ruin Christmas by telling you that Santa's not real, all that kind of stuff. So plug your ears and just, go blah, 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 or click off the video if you don't want to hear this, if you want to keep the mystery alive. According to Wikipedia, I know you're not supposed to use Wikipedia or cite it as one of your sources, but it says that this has been debunked and that upon this man's initial widespread exposure, there was a suspicion from 4chan users of all, very reputable people, as well as other forums and stuff, that this was a marketing stunt, and they discovered that thisman.org was hosted by the same company that hosted a site named Guerrilla Marketing, which is a fake advertising agency which designed subversive hoaxes and created weird art projects exploring pornography, politics, and advertising. And apparently they also found who made this website. It was made by an Italian marketer named Andrea Natella. And then to go back down to the debunk thing, a published paper he wrote in 2012 titled Viral K Marketing finally confirmed that this man was not real, but rather a stunt. But it says that while Natella admitted thisman.org was simply a marketing ploy, he never revealed what it was promoting, but some people have speculated, of course, some films it could be promoting or whatever, but that doesn't really matter. Much like everything on the internet, most of it isn't real, and that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's real or if it's fake. I had fun looking into it. Hopefully you had fun watching me look into it with you and explain it to you, break it down, tell you all this going on, and if you do see this man in your dreams, comment it in the comment section and say cheese, ugly bastard.